ChatGPT, your personal cybersecurity tutor. Let's check it out.
Are you new or early in your cybersecurity journey and you're trying to learn some new concepts, but you keep running into roadblock after roadblock? And it comes to the point where you're Googling, you're looking for links, but it's not really aligning with what you're trying to go with for your study plan and your learning and development process. Introducing ChatGPT. And in this video today, I'm going to tell you of a way to use ChatGPT as your own personal cybersecurity tutor.
I personally did this. I used ChatGPT so much to study. It can be absolutely phenomenal. Let's see if he's got the same tips and tricks that I've got.
The discussion. Hello and welcome back to Struggle Security, where we are normalizing struggling in cybersecurity. And
I love that. Normalizing struggling, because that's what it is. It can be struggle bus all the way, right? You're transitioning like me from some like random unrelated field, tech background field, high school English teacher, like I knew nothing about technology. It is a struggle, and that can create imposter syndrome, which is really tough to deal with, right? You are the professional, but there's so much out there, and you're not going to know it all. I don't know it all. I'm a few years in. I don't know it all. And at the beginning, when you certainly know, next to nothing, potentially, right? It can be overwhelming. So it is okay to struggle. Struggle is going to be part of the journey, and frankly, it might never go away. When new stuff comes out, zero-day exploits, data is getting exfiltrated, you've got a breach, an incident going on, it's going to be a struggle. Some days will be, but it is so worth it. It's so worth it.
The struggles that many of us have is learning new concepts, learning new ideas within cybersecurity.
So number one thing that he brings up is learning. Learning can be a struggle. If you don't enjoy, if you don't love learning, if you are not innately curious, cybersecurity may not be for you. Tech absolutely can be. IT absolutely can be. Networking, system administration. These fields don't change nearly as rapidly as cybersecurity. Cybersecurity changes minute by minute, hour by hour, day by day, week by week. New stuff is coming out, new tools, new technologies, tactics, procedures. Bad guys are learning all the time and upping their game all the time. Whereas networking protocols, well, they kind of been around for a long time, right? So if you want a high-paying career, tech is absolutely it. But if you don't love the learning portion, maybe consider a different field in IT rather than cybersecurity. But if you are curious, if you are hungry, learning might be a struggle because it's going to be daily. We need to keep learning all the time. It doesn't matter if you've been in the field for 10 days or 10 years, you're going to be learning new stuff all the time.
Today, we're going to talk about how to use ChatGPT as your own cybersecurity tutor. And for those who don't know what ChatGPT is, it is an artificial intelligence-driven tool which was released by OpenAI, and it's been mass adoption. I mean, if you Google ChatGPT, it's so many different links, so many different YouTube videos that you can find. But there are so many different uses that many of us have not tapped into yet. And one that I want to talk to you about today is using ChatGPT as your own personal cybersecurity tutor. Let's start it off with a scenario here. Let's say that you're an entry-level security operations center analyst and you are desiring to improve your threat detection skills. You understand that your organization is using Splunk as a SIEM or a security incident and event management system. And you know that they have antiquated or old queries and detection. So you're looking to...
So that SIEM is the tool or technology. It's that piece of software that takes in all the logs from everywhere, from your endpoints, from your network, from the cloud, from IoT, any place you can ingest it into the SIEM. And that's what's going to cause alerts to trigger, alarms to fire off for things for you to go and investigate. And oftentimes, when you're just joining a company, those have already been set. Those have already been created. The alert logic is already there. So one of the, you want to get up to level 2, you want to get up to level 3, you want to progress in your career, absolutely, this is it. Figure out how to create better, more accurate alerts, more accurate alarms, so that when these, like I said, attacks change all the time. Threat actors are using new tools, new technologies, new ways of doing things. So your alerting needs to keep up with that.
Increase your skills, but also add impact to the organization. Really quick aside, a SIM stands for Security, Incident, and Event Management. And several of the goals of a SIM is to collect, analyze, aggregate, normalize, investigate, report on all types of threat activities, malicious activities within your organization. It's kind of like the eyes and ears of what's happening within the organization. And it's kind of a lot of times the first line of defense before someone declares an incident or something bad happening within your network.
Yeah, the SIM is not declaring an incident. It's just gathering a lot of the information. Certainly by no means all of it. You're going to have to go to other tools and places to find more information. But it is the main place, it's the starting location to look into what bad things might be happening in your company, in your network, in your environment.
To find out before you get hacked. It's the tool that you use to understand before you get hacked. Back to the scenario. So you're looking to learn, improve your skills, and positively impact your organization in a 1 month period of time, because that's when your review cycle is. And you're looking to increase it by learning how to create Splunk queries. Let's go over to ChatGPT.
So Splunk is perhaps the most popular, most widely known SIM. It's by no means the only one. In general, the skill that you would learn with one SIM is transferable to another. Now, the query language in which you would build the alert or the alarm might change from SIM to SIM. Like the SIM that I use uses a completely different set of rules and logic and language than Splunk does. But once you get the idea behind it, it's fairly transferable on learning the new syntax, the new language.
Where I have put together several prompts, right? And that's one thing about ChatGPT. It's very important to understand the different prompts that you're putting together in order for you to get a very good result, or the result that you're looking for. So let's go ahead and walk through it. And the first question is that I asked ChatGPT is to create.
Notice this on the side. You can see his chat history. It's one of the things, OSINT, you gotta look and see what he's doing. See what he's done in the past. You can absolutely clear that out. In the future, if you're ever gonna share your screen, especially, OpenAI is very controversial in cybersecurity circles because some people love it, some people hate it. There's a lot that's unknown about it, right? It has all of this information, it has all of this data that we're giving it, we're feeding to it. So it's this unknown that just has potentially the amount of power that it has is kind of unfathomable at the moment, right? Like we've all seen Terminator and Skynet, and we've seen all these movies on what it could be, but seeing how it actually plays out, time will tell.
Roadmap for learning how to create detection queries in Splunk. Now, it's not perfect, but it's something to start off with. So here they're giving you several things. It says, here is a roadmap for learning how to create detection queries. They want you to do several things, and it's a step-by-step process. It says, familiarize yourself with the Splunk search language, learn about Splunk data sources in 2, 3, practice, study Splunk's reporting analysis. It's a lot of things here, but it's not really specific to what I'm looking for. I'm looking for something with a little bit more detail.
Absolutely. Any AI, ChatGPT, whatever, Bard, Gemini, whatever they call it now, it takes a lot of refining, and this is why I think AI is not going to take over cybersecurity. Our jobs, they're not going to take our jobs anytime soon, because what we do is too complicated. It's not like a step-by-step procedure, which is great for us, right? But it also, when you're using these tools, you're going to kind of have to work harder. Like, in a sense, it doesn't replace Google. In some ways, like when you're asking very specific, easily defined questions, but when you're looking for steps like this, expect that it's going to take time and refining to get the information that you need.
That's what I start to give it. I give it another prompt to say, I'm looking to learn this in 1 month. And it says, break the concepts up into what I need to learn each week. Okay, now we're getting somewhere, right? Now we're getting somewhere. Now we're starting to move. It's saying week 1 is telling us to familiarize ourselves with Splunk and the search language and practice.
This is smart. This is a really smart way to do it. It's great that ChatGPT or AI in general is smart enough to be able to break things, to remember conversation history and then break it down into digestible parts. So if it spits out a wall of text, if it's trying to get you a novel to read, have it summarize, have it break it down just like this. So much easier.
Creating basic searches. 2, study Splunk's reporting and analysis tools. Learn how to create alerts. 3, study real-world examples and detections, practice. And then 4, focus on fine-tuning and optimizing your detection queries, and it keeps going to review what you've learned to assess. Now, it's telling us that this is a rough guide, and I'm like, okay, cool, it's a rough guide. And I'm telling it, hey, again, this is a conversation that's happening between myself and something in our cybersecurity tutor of ChatGPT. So here, I'm telling it to give more detail on the weekly learning roadmap, and boom, it's going into a lot more detail here. We're seeing that it's saying for day 1. So it's breaking up into days now. So week 1, day 1, familiarize.
I would recommend against going too granular. And maybe this is just a me thing, but I don't need, oh, we're getting a call. Totally forgot what I was talking about. That was the wife. She's with the kid at a park, having fun. I remember breaking it up too granularly into day by day, minute by minute, hour by hour, what you should be doing, to me is almost too much. I would prefer give me a list of bullet points on what I should do for the week and then start checking those off. But when it's like this day-to-day thing, that's a little bit too intense.
This up with the Splunk search language, including understanding the basic syntax, keywords, command. I mean, it's giving us some good information here, right? Telling us to practice the daily queries or practice the basic searches. Let's get into more detail. Week 2, study Splunk's reporting analysis tool, and it gives detail there. But at the same time, yeah, I'm understanding that this is a learning plan, a study plan, but at the same time, I want more. I want links. I want links, places where I can go, things that I can get from Google, right? A million Google.
That right there is going to be the power of AI, is give me all of the resources I need. I don't want to have to go and hunt for it. I don't want to have to work. It takes almost as much time finding good resources as it does consuming the resources for the knowledge, for the skills. Hunting for what you need is kind of a waste of time, right? It's like a useful skill in general, because you'll be doing that on your day-to-day as a security analyst. You're not going to be able to rely on ChatGPT to find, everything in life. So you're still going to need Googling skills. But if you can minimize the amount of downtime or useless time in terms of getting the actual resources you need, let's do it, AI. Save me that time.
Searches will probably get me this. But when I ask ChatGPT, please include resources and links for each week, it's drilling down into it. Right? We can see here that it says Splunk search tutorial. It's giving specific documentations, links to documentations from Splunk, and then it's also following up with a YouTube video. That's probably how you found my information right now. So it's saying for day 1, it literally is giving you the documentation from Splunk, and it's giving you a YouTube video to follow that up with. So you're getting some people who like reading, but also listening, right? And video learning too. So that's something that's very...
In terms of learning, I love this particular comment. You need to read, but watching videos is also great. I don't love content that is reading only, but I find reading, I retain the information more because I'm actively engaged. Whereas if I'm just listening, maybe I am like scrolling Instagram or whatever, like I'm multitasking, my attention's divided. Or if you start listening for hours on end, your just attention isn't great in general overall. So getting multiple types of resources is absolutely phenomenal.
Very valuable, right? So it's doing that for each one of these days. So you can literally block off what you're gonna do for each one of your days within your organization and say, hey, this is what I'm gonna do. This is how much time it's gonna take, and these are my resources. And it's giving you that for each and every concept that it gave. Now I'm thinking about, hey, what?
Notice if we go back there, it didn't quite finish the query. And ChatGPT is kind of known for this. It will break off halfway through, and you can try and regenerate that response, but then it'll redo the entire thing, and that's so frustrating. Like, just pick up where you left off. keep going. It's known for this. It can be kind of frustrating.
In every concept that it gave. Now I'm thinking about, hey, what can I use in order to practice? So that's the question I asked. What resources can I use to practice creating my queries? And it says, what are they? Those are my questions. And again, having a conversation, this is something that's kind of developing, and they're using previous information and I threw in there. So I don't have to give as much context in following prompts than I did previously. So it gives several here. It says Splunk Sandbox, which is a free online environment that allows you to practice creating searches, reports, and dashboards in Splunk. This is an excellent resource for getting started with Splunk and learning the basic search language and reporting.
One of the difficulties with this, if you're brand new, just trying to break into IT, into security, you may not know what you should be searching for. Ask ChatGPT, what skills, what tools should I learn when I'm just starting to break in? Splunk is a phenomenal one to start with because it's everywhere. It's such a necessary tool, and having that knowledge, like I said earlier, can transfer on over. So if you're brand new and you're like, there's so much I need to learn, I don't even know where to get started, either ask ChatGPT, where do I start? How do I start? Or Splunk is honestly a really good one because it can branch off into all of these other layers of security.
And I think this is super valuable for people who might not be in the field yet, right? I know this scenario, I'm talking about security operations center analysts who might have access to the full Splunk distribution, but ChatGPT is giving us a free resource here where you can just go online. You can utilize the Splunk Sandbox in order to practice and all of your detections and what you've been learning. You also might want to not do this or practice your threat detection or threat queries within your live systems because you might mess something up. So having this Splunk Sandbox resource is super duper valuable. It's given several others here, right? The Splunk base, a vast collection of Splunk add-ons and apps. It's given several other things and online tutorials. Now I'm also following that up by asking, hey, are there any GitHub projects? I should have said projects, but any GitHub projects where I can find examples. And they said, boom, they're giving me several GitHub projects that already exist.
I wouldn't have even thought of this, checking GitHub for projects. This is how you cement your learning, and this is how you can really crush an interview. This is how you can even get interviews, do projects. Don't just, I know I harp on this a lot, CompTIA Security Plus. I recommend it, blah, blah, blah. I don't really like it because it's just a fire hose, a waterfall of information. Unapplied information is unretained. If you're like me, right? You're studying for a test, you pass the test, and then you forget everything because you don't apply it. So instead of just learning about Splunk, in this case, learning ABC, XYZ, doesn't matter, apply it, find a project. How smart is that? You could even change this to take out the word GitHub. Are there any projects where I can find examples, or what projects could I do for this topic? And that way, once you get that hands-on skill, that hands-on practice, throw it on your resume, talk about it in an interview, or if you already have the job, talk about it with your manager. You can show it to your manager to try and get that promotion. Shows initiative, shows that you have skill, you have passion, commitment, continuous learning, like everything a manager wants to see. That's how you do it.
Have examples of Splunk queries that I can compare mine to or even enhance for my particular environment. That's one thing about these queries, that people can give examples, but they might not necessarily align one-to-one to your environment. So utilizing previous examples, building up your ability to create them yourself, and then applying all of that knowledge to tailor it to your environment is exactly what you're getting here from this learning plan. And now I asked them, hey, give me some links. Please provide links for each one of those GitHub resources. And it's giving me each one of the GitHub resources. It says, I hope these resources are helpful in your journey to learning how to create detection queries in Splunk, and good luck. I mean, that was so...
And notice this video example was on Splunk search queries. There's a lot you can do in Splunk. And in that particular sim, you can do dashboards. You can learn to investigate alerts more thoroughly, right? How do I find information more quickly? How do I find more accurate information? There's a lot of tools or skills within that particular tool. So you want to be, if you can, as hyper specific as possible. Just saying, I want to learn Splunk is kind of vague. And at the very beginning, that's fine, but learn how you can niche down and focus on one very particular definable skill, master that, to a certain degree, and then move on to the next thing.
Much there. And guess how long this took me? This took me maybe like, I don't know, 15 minutes or so. In 15 minutes, I have a roadmap to a concept in cybersecurity that I didn't know previously. So you as a security analyst, you as a career transitioner, you as an early career person can utilize ChatGPT as your own personal tutor. Feel free to use my prompts or increase them or use different prompts too.
One of the other things you can do with ChatGPT, so it gave you all these resources, it gave you these projects, you're doing them, you're checking them out, you're capitalizing on those learning opportunities, but then you get stuck. So this is where I thought he was going to go with it, was now that I am stuck trying to build this query, the syntax isn't working, you plop that query into ChatGPT and ask, why is this not working? How do I optimize this query to make it happen? And it can really help you out. Not all the time, especially with like super advanced ones I've tried, but at the beginning level ones, it's usually pretty good about optimizing your searches or giving you search terms. So Splunk uses a key value pair, giving you the types of keys that you want to look for. It's absolutely phenomenal in that regard as you're finding holes or gaps in your learning process. Then you go here and you're asking very targeted questions. Yes, you can also Google for these, right? Stack Overflow or Reddit or wherever might have those answers. But I find that ChatGPT or Bard, whoever, will get you that answer more quickly. This is one of the ways that I learned how to program so quickly, is that I would try and build something, say, okay, I'm trying to build a hangman game, whatever. Build out an API, and I'm like, here's my code, I'm getting this error, help me fix it. And then it'll help fix that one line, and then I'll build more functionality, I'll run into an error, can't figure it out, help me fix it. So use it, don't just use it up front, use it along the way, use it along your journey, as long as you don't mind giving, up your information to the to the AI overlords, to the Microsoft, who I think owns ChatGPT now. It is what it is, but great resource, great video. Let's see how he's going to close it out here.
For any of the concepts that you might need help with. And there are going to be more of these as more developments come with ChatGPT, and even Google is coming out with a version called Bard.io or Bard. It's also going to be similar to ChatGPT. I'll do more and more videos of how you can utilize artificial intelligence in your cybersecurity journey. Thank you again. Subscribe, hit the like bell or hit the like button if this has been valuable to you. And this is Struggle Security, where we are normalizing struggling in cybersecurity, and hopefully this alleviates one of your struggles. Thank you, and come back again for more and more of this type of content. Thanks.
Super enjoyed it. Absolutely great knowledge, great information. Use it. Check it out. As technology advances, you got to advance with it. And these were great tips to help you out on that journey. So thanks for joining me, and I'll catch you in the next one.